Some of the guys that stepped up in fall camp yesterday in the scrimmage are exactly who Auburn needed to step up.
You are Locked On Auburn, your daily podcast on the Auburn Tigers. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Yes, I'm Zach Blackerby. He's Christian Rauh. This is Locked On Auburn. So much to get to regarding everything happening at the scrimmage yesterday and what Golesh said about it. Gave a lot of nods to a lot of folks on this team, Christian, which is great. 100 plays total. Highlighted both sides of the football. Talked about how tackling was much better than last week. Great. This natural progression from scrimmage 1 to scrimmage 2 is exactly what you want to see and hear. Some of the names he specifically noted as standouts, I think is really good. Byrum Brown being in that, like we've talked about everything else. Like it's like, let's be clear. Like it's good to hear that Byrum is winning and having moments against this defense that we think is going to be pretty good. Talked about how the offense had some explosive plays. Talked about how the offense had some sustained drives. And you don't do that in this offense without good quarterback play. So I wanted to start things off with Byrum Brown getting the nod from his coach.
So you're telling me that after the first scrimmage, people overreacted when they said it was sloppy? Are you saying that there was an overreaction happening across the national landscape of the media, Zach? It happened?
I was surprised. Even Auburn fans, we came on and like I highlighted the good things. And all the comments were like, everybody talked about how it was so sloppy. I'm like, it's fine. It's the first scrimmage. It's fine.
It's good that Byrum Brown's being announced, though. It's good that he's getting the credit he deserves. Talked about how good it is because we've heard about his receivers. We've heard about his running back, his offensive line. The fact that Golesh, and of course, he mentions him. He believes he's one of the best quarterbacks in the country. He said that SEC Media Days. He's seen him in his work for years now. The fact that he's able to single him out just shows you, at least shows me, that he's taking that next step. And that's something he needs to do inside the SEC. So, yeah, I think it's very interesting.
I think we can lump a few of these guys in with Byrum, right? Keshaun Singleton, Chaz Nimrod, which we didn't hear Chaz in the first scrimmage. Kyle speculated that maybe even sat out. I don't know. That might be out there. If that is, I haven't seen it. But regardless, hearing good things from Chaz and hearing good things about Keshaun Singleton are great. And those were kind of things that Daryl and I called for on yesterday's Locked on Auburn. We were kind of semi-previewing the scrimmage as far as things that we wanted to hear. I said, hey, like, probably overblown, but like, we need to hear something about Byrum. We need to hear something about these receivers. And I'm going to be honest, Christian, it's been a hot minute since I can remember a Auburn coach walking out of a scrimmage and the storyline being that the offense competed. Like that's been a minute. It's been so one-sided for so long about the defense just dominating. And you heard about like stories in practice in the scrimmage of like needing to take out a different defensive line. So like the offense could actually like run plays. Like that's not what this is about. And to me, that's super exciting. And I think we're going to see a brand of Auburn football that we haven't seen in a while because of that.
We know what to expect of the defense. We've seen it before. There's a ton of retention. Now there's some new pieces and there are some questions surrounding it, sure, but they're not to the point of what the offenses has been over the past 5 years. So the fact that it's competing against this defense, yeah, certainly exciting for sure. When's the last time we've heard a presser or an availability or anything like that from any coach, any player, and of course, Alex Golesh as well, where he mentioned both Singleton and Nimrod at the exact same time? I feel like it's usually one or the other, or one and then a younger player. This time getting your potentially 1A, 1B of receivers being the ones that really showed out. I think that's worth mentioning and maybe a little more than interesting.
I think so too. Talking about the offense, sounds like he was asked about Bryson Washington, and he said, quote, Bryson Washington in the past week has shown why he's been able to do what he's done the past couple years. Is that important or interesting? That's important.
That's very important.
Now, I don't think he can be RB2 at this point to start the season. But if you're telling me the Baylor version of Bryson Washington is the second or third best running back in this offense, Whew.
2 weeks ago, I didn't think you saw a carry from Bryson Washington in the Baylor game. I don't think that's the case now. I think you see him get some action right off the bat. He looks like he's getting right at the right time. So
it's huge. Yes. It's absolutely huge. I'm trying to stay on offense before I move to defensive notes here. Talked about like how talent's not the issue. It's like situational football is on both sides of the ball as well as special teams. And so I do wonder what that look. Then he talked about having a young team. And I'm like, well, when I think situational, especially on offense, I think about quarterback play, right? Like, so Byrum should have seen a lot of these situations and been coached through some of that. So I do wonder what all that looks like. And I also love the awareness of it all, because there hasn't been any awareness when it comes to situational football over the last few years. Like, I mean, I remember there was a play, I wish I remember which half it was the first half in a game where it's like the only thing Peyton Thorne needed to not do was take a sack and you could get a field goal. And like, of course, like the one option is he took a sack. So it's just like situational stuff like that. The fact that he's caring about it and calling it out publicly and knowing that it'll get fixed or at least addressed is comforting for sure.
No, I agree. And to me, this team might feel young when it looks at, go to the roster and you see, okay, there's a ton of sophomores on this team, but a lot of them follow Golesh, or a lot of them do have experience in college football. So they might be young when it comes to a roster standpoint comparing to the rest of the SEC, but it feels different at the same time. It feels like there's a lot more continuity and a lot more of relationships that have already been built. Now, of course, now you have an entire offseason at Auburn. So I don't know if that youth movement that's happening at Auburn here is really going to be such a concern. I don't know if we go back at all this year in any post games and say, yeah, well, this is just a young team, don't worry about it. I don't know if that's one thing we'll ever say, because they seem to be figuring it out.
Just to kind of put a bow on some of the offensive stuff, we said this in our reaction show yesterday. Go check that out if you missed it. But just a quote on Keshaun Singleton. Quote, when his off the field process is right, he can be as special as there is in the country. And he has done that. It's just being fully committed to this process. It's all come together for him this summer. Proud of him. So if the version of Keshaun Singleton we've seen, whether it's throughout the spring or early parts of fall, or even what he did at South Florida, if that's not the best version of Keshaun Singleton, ooh, I can't wait. Can't wait to see what that looks like.
So excited to figure out and just have the debate with Auburn fans all season long, who is going to lead this team in receiving, because it's not a sure thing answer. And that is a great problem, not a bad one, a great problem to have for this receiver room.
Yeah, I think so too. All right. He made a few comments about like culture and stuff, and we'll get to that, but I do want to pivot to the defense because it sounded like they had a good day at corner. But my biggest question mark when it comes to defensive play, I actually feel a little bit better about it. That's next right here on Locked On Auburn. Today's show brought to you by our friends at Kalshi. Kalshi's the best prediction market out there, Christian. In fact, I don't think it's close. It's close. On Kalshi, you're trading against your peers in a live market, meaning there's no house, and as the probability changes, you can buy in and out of your position, trade the draft pick, the game, and more on Kalshi. Download the Kalshi app. Use code LOCKEDON, LOCKEDON, Locked On, to get $10 when you trade $10. That's at Kalshi. 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 Trade on anything. Continuing on here as we discuss everything Alex Golesh said yesterday after the scrimmage, highlighted DeShawn, Womack, and Jared Smith as standouts. And I've come around to being pretty comfortable with what Jared Smith should be able to do, what he projects to be able to do this season. I have been a little critical of saying, hey, DeShawn, Womack, I've got questions, and I would love for you to prove me wrong. Sounds like he did a little bit yesterday. He was listed as one of the standouts by Golesh early in his time talking to the media.
Yeah, and this is, I think, important because you're hearing two edge rushers that stood out, and you just heard the bad news about JJ Faulk being out for the season. So you got to be top heavy. I think you need to have more of a heavy rotation on the top side of it. And if Womack and Jared Smith can step up like we're seeing in this scrimmage, if they can do that as soon as the Baylor game, then man, watch out. I think this team can really cause some havoc. I like the interior defensive line. I like this edge rush. And if they can cause enough pressure and let these linebackers do what they need to do, let this secondary step up, there's a lot of good things heard from them as well. I really like what this defense can head into. And I think it has the opportunity to be an even better defense this year than it was last year. And I know that's saying something.
That is saying something. If they can figure out the pass rush, I think it's accurate. That's an if. They got to figure that out. Sounded like Dallas Walker had a good day, which is super, super important. I think Nathan King said that he had a pick 6 as well, which I'm assuming is off a screen. I'm assuming, but
maybe a bobble. Who knows? Maybe one of those.
Sure.
So loaf of bread. And
Who cares?
Good old 2003 Sam Adams.
Play.
2003 Sam Adams, the Buffalo Bills running it against your New England Patriots for a touchdown. That's what it reminds me of Dallas Walker doing. That's where my picture went. So
yeah, totally. Yeah, the Bills are so good against the Patriots for sure.
You're welcome. Yeah.
So love that. Love that Dallas Walker got some love because he's a big part of this. And I've talked a ton about how the linebackers really benefited from Bobby Jamison Travis last year. Can Dallas Walker be that guy? And if he can in this system, that'd be huge. I think Bobby Jamison Travis was super slept on last year, which is kind of the nature of like any good nose tackle, right? Dallas Walker kind of coming into play and being shouted out there, I think is good. And we'll also mention Cody Sigler here as we talk about the interior D line. Golesh talking about how we could have some positional versatility to scoot out to defensive end. I don't know what to do with that information. No clue what to do with that, but okay. I'm down if you want to do that in a run heavy situation, beef up the middle, scoot Sigler outside. Why not?
Sigler fires me up so much. He's turning into my favorite player on this defense, maybe even on the entire team. I think I'm going to start calling him the chaos wild card because, man, we just don't know what to expect from him.
Catchy at all.
It doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be catchy, but he's the
chaos
wild card.
Wild card.
He can bring chaos. He can bring chaos. He's the wild card for me that can bring
absolute
chaos.
Come up with something better than
sure.
Chaos
We can think of better something.
Card.
Yeah, come on, Dr. Seuss. I know you're good at these rhymes. Be better than me on this. So. Either way, I am just really excited.
Chaos Cody sounds better than Chaos Wild Card.
Look at you. There you go. Chaos Cody.
Yep.
Cook me in the chats, bud. Cook me in the chat.
I got a feeling they'll take your side, but
they won't take my side. No way. No. Chaos Cody's much better than Chaos Wild Card.
Let us know. Chaos Wild Card or Chaos Cody, which of course. Better?
I'm advocating against myself here. Yes.
When you said I'm about to start calling him, I got so excited. I'm like, you're about to drop a bar.
No. I will say, I mean, but just like him being an absolute wild card because like we just don't know what to expect of him this season.
Yeah.
Him coming up from Arkansas State. That's where my mindset went. The name drop definitely needed to improve. So thank you for that.
Did you call me Dr. Seuss?
You're so good on the rhymes, man. You're so good. You bring some of the best stuff. I did. I certainly did. Maybe you should write a book. I don't know.
So funny.
Yeah. All right, back to the Cody Sigler stuff. Yes, very excited. Sure. The fact that he can potentially move out the edge, like, is that an answer? Maybe a rebuttal or a fixture to possibly be what JJ Faulk was as a third or fourth piece in there if they have to rotate. Okay, you can move Sigler out there for a down or two.
Yeah, it gives you options, right? Which is everything you can ask for. You know, I think they need him in the interior, but you just never know. Like, what does does Malik Autry come on where like that allows you to give him more snaps? We'll see. But look, if Sigler's a better edge like rusher from that spot than some of these other guys, like, I do think that naturally raises a few questions unless Sigler is like going to be better at that than I think he is, which that'd be great.
So Chaos Cody and Wild Card Walker.
No, he's the Chaos Wild Card.
Wild Card Walker? Huh? All right, I'm over it. I'm done.
Going back to just the edge situation. Nathan King tweets out, Alex Golesh says Auburn's pass rush has been very strong recently. DeShawn Womack and Jared Smith had big scrimmages today, and I like this detail because I think it's important. And played well through fatigue, which Golesh says is huge for that group because they're going to have to play through fatigue this year. I think they're going to have to play a lot of snaps.
I do so too. Yeah, I think this rotation is going to be very thin, especially at the beginning till they figure this out. If we're talking about our chaos wildcard Cody may potentially playing out on the edge, that tells you everything you need to know. So
yeah,
for sure.
The chaos wild card that is Cody Sigler.
CWC, baby. CWC.
The Dr. Seuss comment is sending me right now. He also highlighted Eric Winters and then said we played pretty well at corner today. He went into depth talking about how Andre Jordan Jr. has been one of the most consistent players on Auburn's defense this fall, which isn't surprising because we haven't really heard anything about him. He's so consistent. And I also think the way that the team talks about Andre Jordan Jr., like they're super excited to talk about how he's playing. And that's all they really say. They're like, yeah, Dre's over there making plays, batting balls now, whatever. Whether it's guys after practice, whether it's Champ Anthony at SEC Media Days, like that's all they say about him. They don't say anything else. They just say like, yeah, he's batting down balls. He's making plays, which is all you need your corner to do, by the way.
Yeah, and he's solid on the boundary. We've heard that over and over again. He's kind of getting the Keshaun Singleton treatment of the defense, where he just puts his head down and apparently just goes to work and is just a surefire thing for one of the starting spots on this roster. So I think it's great that Golesh brought him up finally, because we have heard a lot more about Pleasant. We've obviously heard a lot more about Gavin Jenkins over this offseason, and Dre's just kind of been there and gave us some room to speculate, okay, who is going to take these starting roles? Well, I think we've definitely figured that out, and Andre Jordan Jr. is going to be one of them.
Yeah. At linebacker, talking about Bryce Deas, playing all three linebacker spots, said his best days are ahead of him, and hopefully that's in like 18 days, which I guess would be 17. No, I think it'd be 16 now. I think yesterday was 17. He's had a really, really, really good camp. That's 3 reallys for counting at home. 3 reallys, 3 linebacker spots for Bryce Deas. Really, really, really good camp. We feel really good with him. So I think Deas is a sleeping giant, Christian. If I'm being 100% honest with you, I think he is a sleeping giant ready to explode out of a cannon and do so many different things.
Really? You really think that?
I really, really, really think that.
I think so too. Actually, I really think so as well. He's one of the only players on both the offense and defense, when you're talking about the quote sloppy scrimmage and this scrimmage, where he was discussed in a golden light, where we talked about Bryce Deas of being all over the place last scrimmage, and now he's talking about being in all 3 different positions. He might be deserving of potentially being the camp MVP after what we've heard over the last couple of weeks from him.
We've talked about the differences between what's happening now and what has been happening at Auburn. And I think we saw another glimpse of it yesterday when Golesh spoke to the media. That's next, right here on Locked on Auburn. Today's show brought to you by our friends at Poncho. It's like my new favorite shirt. PonchoOutdoors.com/lockedon. I wear the Auburn one a good bit. I wore it yesterday, so I don't have it on today. It's getting washed right now. But I love the comfort of it. I love how professional it is. And they've actually extended their offer, Christian. The Natty Back guarantee has been extended to, I believe, September 7th.
Let's go.
What is the Natty Back guarantee? I'll tell you. If you buy a shirt between now and I believe it's September 7th, the Natty Back guarantee offer is if the team whose shirt you bought wins the national championship, you get reimbursed.
Sounds like free money. Sounds like a free shirt. Like
free money if you buy an Auburn shirt. Am I right?
That's what I heard. That's what I heard. That's all I heard.
That's what they're saying.
I think it's really, 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 really important to go ahead and get
really, Poncho. Really, really important. 100%. Go to PonchoOutdoors.com/lockedon. Enter your email, and you get $10 off and free shipping on your first order. So once again, PonchoOutdoors.com/lockedon. Put your email in, $10 free shipping. Love these shirts. All right, final few minutes on today's edition of Locked on Auburn. We've said this once, we've said it twice, we've said it a million times. things are happening that are different now at Auburn. Now, does the difference always translate to different levels of production? No, it doesn't. And I hate having to add that caveat, but it's true. It's true. And until he is able to coach on Saturdays, he can't win any games. But I love the self-awareness from Coach Golesh here. And this might have been a dig. I don't know. I don't know if he's really thinking about what happened at Auburn before here. I don't think he is. So it's probably not a dig. But Golesh said, quote, "We have talent. The reason why teams win is because they're focused. The ability to focus in college football is the name of the game. Can you get a group of young men to worry about the team, their process, and everything that goes into preparing for a game? It's all about focus and being all on the same page and understanding what your job is and how you focus on winning the football game. It's not all about talent. Talent matters. Talent matters a ton, but talent loses if you're not focused. And boy, do we see that here over the last few seasons.
We certainly have. And when you hear this kind of quote and you remind yourself of what the last few seasons looked like for Auburn, I don't blame folks for being skeptical, but also I understand being optimistic because I'm certainly in the second boat for sure. I love how authentic he is. And I don't think this was a dig on his former squad, to be honest with you, because what we've seen from him, one, he's very thoughtful of his words, but also he does seem to live in the moment quite a lot as well. He lives off the energy of whatever just happened, or maybe in the presser. And I think that is something worth mentioning. I don't think he's thinking about that old thing. I think he's completely focused in on Auburn. So I don't know if this was a dig at all. I think this was just a complete 100% comment of what he truly believes Auburn football will be and can be starting this season.
Also love like the closeness of this team. Like we've seen it. We've heard, a few of the guys on social media, mainly like Hudson Cock, the punter, talking about how like, all right, going into it, he was a little questionable about the whole thing. And now they feel so much closer. And then you see the video of the team celebrating with the band that came in to play, like a lot of really fun things. And it's like, it looks like these guys enjoy each other. Golesh said yesterday, quote, "The biggest thing I'm proud of is how much this team has come together. Some of it was forced early, but these guys really respect and care about each other. I try to create crazy adverse situations and they keep coming together." Once again, doesn't always have to be, not everything as far as like being different is always better, but man, it feels like this is better.
I can't wait till we're at the end of the season and this team obviously is successful as we hope they can be. And we're just thanking the spa. Thank you, spa. Thank you for that. I was so glad we went to the spa. I mean, the hotel.
That's right. That's right. He said, "We have talent. You can have a big talent gap, but the reason why teams win is because they're focused." Yep. Then
now, can I play devil's advocate for a second?
Please go ahead.
Do you think the fact that he's continuing to talk about focus is because he's seeing something that's an issue, or because he's seeing that it's finally happening? It's finally flipping the switch.
Oh, I'm sure he doesn't think they're focused enough. Right? There's no way he's coming out of the second scrimmage being like, yeah, we're as focused as we need to be.
After saying sloppy just a week ago, like obviously maybe this is him turning into fine-tuning mode, if you will.
Please.
Yeah.
That's where we should be at this point. I also love this bar that he dropped. He said, you recruit your own problems.
Not as good as wild card Sigler, but okay. Not as good, but that's a decent bar.
Wasn't even wild card Sigler. It was chaos wild card.
I even forgot what I said. That's how good it was. Just couldn't even stick. You recruit your own problems. What do you think he means by that? Because I feel like it could be multiple things.
I think it could be like, the character of the guys when you recruit them. Mm-hmm. And so if you know a kid's not coachable and you recruit him anyway, that is now you are recruiting that problem. If you know a kid might be more focused on himself than the team and you think you can fix that or whatever, like if you can't, like you recruit your own problem. I think that's what that means.
I think we saw this a lot with the 27 class where we got them on campus. They bought in right away because they understood the culture. I think the recruiting pitch was, this is how we want to coach you and teach you. And This is how it's going to be. You're in or you're out. And they really seem to focus on relationships. Some of the players you've had on this show talking about it, they seem to really focus on the relationship. And it's not always talent. Obviously, talent's important, but there's a lot more other things to pay attention to in college athletics. So I'm right there with you. This is a refreshing light over what we've had the past couple of years. Obviously, we haven't played a single game yet, but from what we've seen so far this offseason, I couldn't be more excited.
Yeah, I'm with you. Christian, how can people check out everything you've got going on?
Yeah, over at the Barn Auburn, you can find some of my stuff over there, as well as my written work where we talk about the scrimmage and so much more Auburn Tigers at auburndaily.com.
Please like the video. Please subscribe. We will see you next time. This has been Locked on Auburn. Chaos Wildcard. Let's go.